Most people feel stuck in some area of their lives. Maybe it's their finances or their health or their career or relationship. Most people are trapped in a matrix they've created of their own reality. The same day over and over again. Maybe it's a new career or job, but it's still the same career or job. New relationship, but it ends up being the same relationship. New opportunity for creating wealth, but same opportunity not having enough money in your bank account. But a handful of people have been able to create dramatic changes. They escape the matrix and go from rags to riches, from homeless to $1 million business, from purposeless and confused to living on mission. Why is that? Well, in this episode, I'm going to share a single distinction with you that will help you instantaneously shift your situation to go from stuck to success. And I wish I knew this sooner, but it took me 10 years to discover this simple principle, and I want to share it with you today. Because not that long ago, I felt absolutely stuck. I had no money. I had a struggling business. I had 2 homes in foreclosure. I was single for 10 years, in and out of bad short-term relationships, and I had no clarity or purpose in my life at all. And I literally felt like, if you've seen the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, where Bill Murray wakes up every single day to live the same day over and over and over again, I felt like my life was just simply not changing. And in the movie, it's pretty funny because Bill finds some really creative ways to kill himself, like kidnapping the town groundhog and running over the train tracks and getting hit by a train. But it's not funny when it's our lives, because sometimes we feel like not experiencing that life anymore. But over the last 10 years, everything changed for me. I'm absolutely doing what I love with my podcast and live events and coaching programs and helping people. I'm with the woman I love, who's literally the woman of my dreams, who I've built this business with. I had a picture of a hacienda on my vision board. I'm now living in that 10-bedroom, 12-bath house on top of a mountain in Puerto Rico. I have a son. I have lots of money, lots of clarity and purpose and spiritual connection. So the question is, what changed? And if there was one shift I made that I look back on that was responsible for transforming everything in my life, one little habit, it's this. And it is so simple that it's a shame that everyone in the world doesn't understand it, because if they did, everyone would be living the life of their dreams. And what's so cool about it is that no matter what it is you want, no matter what problems you're experiencing, no matter how long you've been feeling stuck, this one mental shift will make a massive difference in shifting things for you. And before I share it with you, it's important to understand how reality works. Like, how have you created the life or the relationships or the health or the business you have? One of my mentors, a woman by the name of Terry Cochran, once told me, Dave, it's important fundamentally to understand that what you make matter matters. And what she meant by that is, your thoughts are things, and they're creating your reality. And what you focus on becomes your reality. What she was saying was, what you focus on literally becomes material in your life. Human beings are a very interesting species in the fact that we are vibration translators. We have the ability to take an idea, which is just simply energy, and to make it a reality in our lives, to make it material, to introduce it into the realm of physics. The great teacher Neville Goddard talks about the 4th dimension and how we're able to actually create from the 4th dimension and bring things into our 3rd dimensional reality. Just as fish were born to swim and birds were born to fly, the human being was born to create something out of nothing. And we do that through the translation of vibration. In fact, you're so much a vibrational translator that is how you experience reality. Your 5 senses are picking up on frequencies and what we would call energy, and translating that into what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch, and what you feel. Albert Einstein once said that reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. And what he was referring to was the fact that in like 7th grade science class, they taught us that everything is made of molecules. Everything in the material world, those molecules are made of atoms. The atom is made of things like a nucleus, which has neutrons and protons and electrons that orbit around the nucleus, and that The atom itself is 99.9999999% space. It's almost all nothing. And yet, when you add a bunch of them together, you get a very something, a very physical, a very material universe. Why is that? Well, because you have vibration translation devices called your five senses. Isn't it interesting that they're called senses, not actualities? You're sensing a reality that's not even there. So you have the ability to create your own reality by focusing on specific things. What you make matter, matterifies. So I want you to think about on an average daily basis what you're making matter. Are you making matter what you want, or are you making matter your problems? Are you making matter your goals and dreams, or are you making matter the absence of the things that you want? Are you paying attention to not having enough money? Are you paying attention to the absence of your soulmate? Are you paying attention to the friction in a relationship, or the pain in your body, or the challenges that you're having in your business, or how little you're making and how unpassionate you are about your career? What are you making matter? And are you spending more time making matter the things that you want, or making matter the things that you don't want? Because here's the tricky thing. As you've created your reality over time, what you tend to do is make the reality you have matter a lot more than the change that you're looking for. In other words, you pay a lot of attention. This is what we do. All of us as human beings, we pay attention to what we've created versus paying attention to what we want. And the challenge with this is that your brain is a goal-achieving machine. The mistake most people make is that when we want to change in our life, we tend to focus on the absence of the thing that we want to solve the problem. Well, I'm paying a lot of attention to not having enough money so I can figure out how to make more. I'm paying a lot of attention to how I don't have enough time so that maybe I can solve this problem of time and be able to create more of it so that I can get all of these things done that are stressing me out. Right? We pay attention to there not being any good ones left out there if we're looking for a relationship, because that's what we tend to notice. So the mistake that most people make is that when we want to change in our life, we do an inventory on what our life looks like right now, and we notice the absence of the thing that we want, and then we start to give meaning to the absence. Well, money's hard to make. Well, there's not enough time. Well, there are no good ones left out there. And in that, we're starting to reinforce our belief systems. You start to believe that things cannot work out for you because you're observing that in your current reality, there is a gap between what you have and what you want. And because our brain is a goal-achieving machine, we end up getting more of that. I want to spend a second on how your brain is a goal-achieving machine. There's a concept in behavioral psychology. We call it in our work the 5 primary drivers. I've alluded to it in a lot of other episodes. But it's this idea that what you believe, the fundamental core programs that you adopted as a child or that were really forced upon you by other people, determines how now as an adult you think on a moment-by-moment basis. So if you believe that you can't trust people, those are the thoughts that you're going to have. If you believe that you have to do it all on your own, you're going to have thoughts in alignment with doing things on your own. If you believe that you don't matter, then you'll have thoughts of low self-esteem and people not wanting to hear what you have to say. So your beliefs, these core programs, determine what you think on a moment-by-moment basis. And you can really only have thoughts that are in alignment with what you believe. In other words, you get an apple from an apple tree. You don't get an orange from an apple tree. And so your thoughts are always in alignment with what you believe. Your thoughts produce emotions. So you experience the thought as a feeling. And your feelings, like joy or curiosity or stress or anxiety or overwhelm or anger or jealousy or peace or calm, those are actually the seeds for action. Those determine what you then do. So it goes from a belief to a thought to an emotion, to an action. And here we can actually see that you are a translator of vibration. It starts out with the energy of belief. It becomes a little bit more material with a thought. Then you get it even more material. Remember, what you make matter matterifies as an emotion. Now you're feeling it in your body. And now that feeling is motivated in action. So now you're actually showing up in the world as the beliefs and thoughts and emotions that you have, and now you're taking action and that produces a result. Now we start to see in the third dimensional reality the materialization of this thing that started out as an idea. Sometimes the result is not a lot of money in my bank account. Sometimes the result is millions of dollars in your bank account. Sometimes the result is chronic health conditions. Sometimes the result is miracle healings. And the result always reinforces the belief that it started with. Oh, see, I knew money was hard to make. Or see, life is full of abundance and prosperity. So whatever you believe becomes your reality. Thoughts become things. Your brain is a goal-achieving machine, and what you make matterifies. But there's a challenge here, because we've become so addicted to this alluring reality that we've created that that's all we pay attention to. And so we keep making the problems matter because that's what's in our reality. And this is a real challenge. Hey, it's David. Quick interruption from your favorite sponsor, moi. I've got something exciting for you today. If you've been enjoying the content we've been putting out, this is your moment to jump in on something special. If you're a fan of this show, you're probably tired of the doom and gloom on social media just like I am, and I want to invite you to jump on over and join me on Instagram, where I'm dropping daily motivation and inspiration and shorts from my podcast. It is so important to get microdoses of uplifting, transformative content throughout your day if you're a social media user, and I know you are. So why not use it to change your brain and impact your life in a positive way? So here's the deal. As a thank you for being such an engaged subscriber, I've decided to do what I call the 2-minute drill weekly giveaway on Instagram from now until the end of the year. Here's how it works. All you have to do is make sure you're following me on Instagram at @DavidBayer33. Number 2, turn on post notifications. And number 3, comment within 2 minutes on my posts. You can comment about the post, share success stories, comment and support other people, or tell me your biggest takeaway from my book, podcast, or content. Just make sure to use the hashtag #ChangedMind. I'll announce winners weekly via IG stories, and that's it. Thanks for listening, and now back to your regularly scheduled episode. In personal development work, we set goals, and so we say, well, I'm where I'm at right now, where I don't have as much money as I want, but I'd like some more money. So you say, I'm going to make some more money, or I'm going to change my health situation, or I'm going to grow my business. But if you notice, the money is always in the future. The health is always in the future. The business or career growth is always in the future. The clarity that you're looking for, or the purpose that you're wanting to understand, is always in the future, isn't it? I mean, by default, it's not here right now. That's why you want it. But the problem is that all we have is the present moment. And so if in every present moment, more money, more health, more clarity, more purpose, more relationship is in the future, then it's always in your future. Are you picking up what I'm laying down here? You can kind of imagine a donkey with a stick tied to its head and a carrot on the end of it. And it's always moving forward, trying to get the carrot, but it can never get the carrot. The carrot is always a couple of feet in front of it. It's never here now. And so this is building up to the distinction that I want to teach you. How do we create something here now that isn't here now? How do we start paying attention to a thing that doesn't exist so that we can make it matter and have it matterify if it's not in our third dimensional space right here, right now? The answer must be to find a way to see what is here now that isn't here now, right? So how do we do that? And this was the awareness that I developed that changed everything for me. And the answer is you change your perception around what does exist right now. You change your relationship with the third dimensional reality that you've already created. See, aspects of what you do want are right here, right now. In other words, even if you're in chronic pain, there's health that exists in your body, isn't there? Otherwise, you wouldn't be alive anymore. Even if you want more money, there is money that you have. You know, there are things that you once didn't have that you purchased with money. There's a stream of money flowing to you. I mean, you're listening to this episode on some sort of device. Likely you live in a home. Likely you have some clothes. You're not running around naked. So there's some stream of money that's flowing to you, even though it may not be the ocean of prosperity and abundance that you'd love to be swimming in. There are relationships there, aren't there? I mean, you have a relationship with someone, even if it's not a significant other. I mean, think about it. Isn't there somebody you have a good relationship with in your life right now? I might be the person you have a good relationship with, right? What clarity is there right now if you're seeking more clarity? If the idea is your brain is a goal-achieving machine and we need to find in our current reality evidence of what it is that we want more of, rather than paying attention to the absence of those things, what can we find in our in our current reality right now that is in alignment with the more that we want? So I mentioned to you that I was single for 10 years. I mean, technically I was going on dates in and out of very short-term bad relationships. And when I realized how this worked, that I had been wanting to have a relationship with the woman of my dreams and that it was always in front of me and I needed to find a way to collapse the gap, I went through an exercise. I pulled out my journal and I started identifying all of the relationship that did exist in my life. Because what did I want? I wanted more relationship. The specifics of the relationship I wanted was with my soulmate, but I had been in drug and alcohol and sex addiction recovery for several years. And so I had developed an even deeper relationship with myself. So I acknowledged that. I had a great relationship with myself, the best relationship with myself that I had ever had in my entire life after 30 years. I had a deeper relationship with my higher power, the God of my own understanding, than I had at any other point in time in my life. While I had fewer friends, I had better friends. The people that I met in recovery, or the people who were actually unconsciously working a recovery program in their life, who I started surrounding myself with. And so I acknowledged all of the relationship equity that I had developed. And as I did that, it activated a relationship frequency within me. It created a relationship abundance frequency. It was about this time that I made a decision that I was going to meet a beautiful Colombian woman and make her my wife. And because I was living in the midst of relationship abundance, it wasn't something that I felt like was in front of me or ahead of me. I attracted into my present moment the woman of my dreams, Carol Gutierrez Bear, my Colombian wife. I made a decision I was going to meet a beautiful Colombian woman and make her my wife. 2 weeks later, through a series of extraordinary synchronicities and coincidences, I met Carol. And it's important to understand here that I didn't meet Carol because I was pursuing some relationship on a stick that was attached to my head, chasing it moving forward. I discovered the relationship abundance that already existed in my life, and I pulled Carol towards me. So this is how we close the gap. There was a period of time where I wanted more money. I had had 2 homes in foreclosure, a couple $100 in my bank account. Even though I was running my own business, I was basically getting a paycheck. I had a bunch of credit card debt, and I knew that I needed to find abundance and prosperity in my life right here, right now, so that I could attract more opportunities to generate more money into my life, whether that was through my career, investments, business. And so I became really, really clear. What I wanted was more money. That's okay. But I was grateful for the money that I had. I was grateful for the home that I did have that wasn't in foreclosure with the roof over my head, even though I was behind on payments. I was grateful for my clothes, even though I wanted more. I was grateful for the food on my plate. And as a result of that, I created an abundance and prosperity frequency within inside of me, which started creating more things in my life and the money to be able to acquire them. And so the really simple distinction, and this is a writer downer that I want to share with you, you can write it down or come back to this episode and listen to it, is the following. To have a blank you love the blank you have. I'll repeat that again, and then I'll give you some examples. To have a blank you love the blank you have. So to have a bank account you love the bank account you have. To have a relationship you love the relationships you have. To have a home you love the home you have. I mean, this goes for everything from cars to clarity to businesses, whatever it is. To have a business you love the business you have. See, what happens is the present moment becomes an antagonist to what we want. We're trying to get out of the present moment and get to where we want to go. But reality doesn't work that way. We have to transform the present moment into the thing that we actually want. and it will create a frequency that will pull more of what we want into our future present moments, because all we have is the present moment. So in this way, you close the gap. And when you close the gap, in a very short period of time, more will come to you. There is an adage in Scripture, it's in Matthew, that says, "To he that hath, even more shall be given, and to he that hath not, even that which he has shall be taken away." I remember seeing that in my early studies of metaphysics and Scripture and personal growth, and I was like, well, that doesn't sound like a very fair universe, right? The person that has a bunch of stuff gets even more stuff, and the person that doesn't have a bunch of stuff gets even the stuff they have stripped from them. But what Scripture is talking about is this prosperity frequency, or finding what it is that we're wanting in our present experience so that we can attract more to it. And what Matthew is alluding to is that the abundant person is abundant because they have an abundance mentality. And as a result of that, they will have more abundance given to them. And the person who's living with very little, they're illustrating in their third dimensional reality that they have a scarcity mentality or a scarcity attitude. And so more scarcity will be brought upon them. And so what we're talking about is taking a different approach, having a different attitude or perspective about the reality that you're living right now, being the key to unlocking the reality that you'd like to be living moving forward. So I hope this has been really, really helpful for you. It was a game changer for me. It gives you an opportunity to take a look at where you've been divided or frustrated, or where there's a gap in whatever area of life or business that exists for you, and start to find what it is that you want in your reality right now, because that will transform your reality and give you even more of that. I have another episode that is fantastic about talking about this, where I talk about creating from the fourth dimension. If you love this episode, check it out. And also, if you love this episode, do me a favor. If you're listening on the audio platforms, leave me a rating and review and subscribe. Same thing if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell icon, ask me a question, leave me a comment, and share this episode with somebody who needs to hear it, because we're all in this together. You know, I know that reality can feel very confusing sometimes, and I wish a lot of these things that we talk about on this podcast were taught in school, but we're getting our higher education here, right? So I love you very, very, very much, and I will see you in the next episode. Hey, it's David. Hop on over to davidbear.com. Click right here. There's also a link in the show notes, and sign up for our newsletter. You'll get immediate access to my free Mind Hack ebook, as well as a couple of trainings to help you master the inner game. This is a great way to stay informed and be a part of our community and be notified of special announcements. Click below, head on over to the website, get subscribed. If you loved this video, make sure you check out this one or this one, and I will see you in the next video.